is reality. Reality is what we believe to be true about the nature of our surroundings. But how do we come to decide that true nature? Do we conceive it completely on our own? Or do other devices gently sway our thoughts onto a pre-decided path? This is the hard question we must all ask ourselves as free humans on this planet. New skulls swirl reality.
Reality.
Ladies and gentlemen, Wednesday nights, you know what time it is?
It's that time again.
It's that time once again.
That friggin' time.
It's been a whole week.
A whole week.
It feels like 2 days. I feel like 2 days. I might have slept like 4 hours since the last show.
Sleep.
Woo, what is that? So anyway, we got a special guest tonight. First time coming, well, I guess you couldn't really say going public, but first time being on the radio or video cast, whatever the hell this show is. What is it, Dan?
It's internet, radio, video, showcast, broadcast.
Yeah. Brought to you by the Jesuit Order. All right, so, Matt, are you there?
I'm here.
Hey, how's it going, man?
Pretty good.
Glad you could be with us tonight.
Oh, thank you.
So, now you've had a pretty wacky go at it, I'd say, man. You know, a lot of shit going on in your life, man. I guess before we get into all that, I mean, you want to just tell us a little bit about yourself, like, you know, typical normal stuff? Like, what do you do for a living, that kind of thing?
Okay, yeah, that's pretty easy. Pretty much since my late teens, early 20s, I've worked in IT. Really good with computers. Worked for so many different companies. Honeywell, you know, all kinds of stuff. I even went to China for about 5 years, did some work over there, and did IT work there, and also taught English on the side, which is pretty cool. And then I got in a really bad accident over there, came back to the States, and kind of had a lull, but right now I'm doing electrical work for new houses.
Oh.
Just so I can see how people build houses, so when I buy my own property, I can actually do it myself.
Yeah.
You know, getting paid to learn. It's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
No doubt.
Yeah, but mainly, I'm a computer type guy.
Awesome. We need you to come over here and push buttons for us. So, man, I don't know, man. I guess just start at the beginning. What's the first just totally thing that you can remember happening to you?
Like as far as weird memory or like normal?
Like any type of, you know, I mean, like the earliest event that you can remember in your life, like from childhood or what? I mean, how did this all get started? When did you know something was definitely up?
Okay, well, yeah, that's like my earliest memory, and I it's even hard to call them memories because they're like, I know they're there. It's like, what's a dream or it's not, but it just feels like, okay, this really happened.
Mm-hmm.
I think I was like 4 or 5, and I was in this room, this like circular room, and I think there was something in the middle, maybe, and there was other people around me, and I don't think all of them were human. And it's like we were going through something, like moving or...
You said you didn't think they were all human. Did you get a look at them, or you just had that feeling?
Just a feeling. I kind of have like it's like something's blocked in my head a little bit, but I remember other kids, but I also remember things that may have looked like kids but weren't kids. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
So it's just more of a, like with me, I have visuals, but I also have a way of reading energy, which is with my body, just kind of things. So it's kind of like on what it is. But anyways, we were in this like circular room, and there's like these huge vibrating sounds, like just like rattle your body sounds. Like, I don't know if you ever watched like Star Trek, the like the first, second one. They went to
Even Star Trek, we've watched it. I promise.
Yeah, no doubt. several times.
All right, cool. It's the one where they go out past where Voyager becomes Vega, and it's in that huge.
Oh
machine.
yeah, you're talking about the first movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like, I don't know if there's like something in that soundtrack, like some sort of thing, like, but it was like there were sounds that going on, but at the same time, these vibrating sounds were going on. There was these kaleidoscope patterns happening everywhere. Just like we were in this thing, going through these sounds and these kaleidoscope patterns at the same time. This is my first real memory. What was that? But
I'm sorry, you broke up there. You said it was your first what?
that's like my earliest memory that I can go back to.
Like ever? Or as
What's
far,
that?
or like your first memory ever, or like your first memory as far as paranormal phenomena go?
No, my first memory ever. That's like
Wow.
before I started remembering, normal stuff. This is like there.
Yeah, it's funny. A lot of people say that, you can't remember anything, prior to a certain age, but I have memories. I know when it was my first Halloween, actually, because I remember being dressed up a certain way and then asking my mom about it. She was like, damn, that was your first Halloween. You remember that? I was like, yeah, it's crazy, man. So, I mean, I know it's definitely possible to have, and, there's a lot of people, like I said, that say, oh, no, you can't remember, blah, blah, blah. Well, just because you can don't mean it's not possible. I mean, so, yeah, sorry to derail the your train of thought there, but.
Oh, that's cool.
So, now you'd mentioned that you have had, actually, crap, I didn't have the, you were saying something about ET contact or ET encounters at some point. Is that too far up, or I need to get my, my checklist out?
Yeah, man, it's like my entire life. I consider that first memory, like, it definitely has something to do with all that.
Yeah, and also that memory that you had, it reminds me of, I can't put my finger on who it was that said it, but they had I think it was Will Glover, said that he had a memory kind of like similar to that, like kind of before he was born type of thing, and like not wanting to go back. And I can't remember if he said the room was circular or not, but it was very similar to what you were talking about there.
Yeah, it's like something that's been stuck with me my whole life. And as I'm older now, I'm like 40. I just turned 42. I'm like, I go back through all this stuff and look at it, trying to, piece it all together. Say, okay, so something definitely happened to me when I was a child. And we'll go into like all the other stuff I've experienced, but it's like, okay, so something definitely happened to me. And it's so hard to even like put into words. It like all relates to all these other experiences, like with the UFOs, with now it's like the Annunaki now, and like all this other stuff. It all relates. It's crazy. It's even hard to describe. I do a lot better writing what I'm feeling or going through than speaking, but I'm doing my best.
You're right. So tell me about this thing that was tapping on your shoulder and scaring the hell out of your family.
Okay, so this was probably I was probably 6 or 7. We lived in a cabin up in Turkey, California. And it's my mom, her new husband, and my sister. She's a year younger than me. And there's a lot of weird stuff that happened up there. We were for some reason sleeping in the attic, and I was on a cot, and my sister, we slept in the same cot, But, my feet were by her head and her feet were by my head. So you were small enough to fit. And I remember at night, I just wake up automatically. And something was, it would just tap on my shoulder. And I was scared shitless. Like, I'm like 5 or 6 or 7, I don't know, somewhere around there, years old. And then I think the next night, we were all eating dinner. And, I get premonitions. Like, when I was a little kid, I used to get really strong. I just know stuff before it happens. And I felt something. It was more of a bodily feeling. I felt something. And then all of a sudden, something knocked at the door. And, like, we're out in the middle of nowhere in this cabin. And I said, don't answer the door. It's the devil. And my sister remembers this, like, totally clearly, too. Like, she knew because she's the same as me. But, went to the door and there's nothing there. And, it's not people just playing pranks because we're pretty far out there. It was whatever that was tapping on my shoulder. And then I think around the same time, me and my sister went to there's this creek out by the house. And to me, this was a total memory cutout. Because I remember something happened. Then I just remember this, we used to have these little, golden books, with, those little kid books, golden.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember those.
Yeah. Yeah, we had, and we brought it out with us, and then for some reason, I just have this image of it just laying in the middle of the creek, and I was like, I'm outside. I don't know, that was something that was cut out of my memory of that time, and I didn't understand why that was happening back then, but I kind of do now.
So, what do you suppose it was then?
Well, let's
we
go into
can come
something else.
back. We can come back to that. Okay, so now you said you have a dreamlike memory of you and your uncle playing around with UFOs. So you're not sure if it's an actual memory or if it's a dream?
I call them dreamlike because those really vivid dreams you have?
Mm-hmm.
And they're just like with you forever. They don't go away.
Yeah.
Okay, well, this is kind of like one of those. But this is like before I even knew anything about UFOs or, what's going on here on this planet.
Now, would you say this was the first time that you've had one of those or saw one of those?
It would be the first memory of seeing these lights in the sky, and having, the first. I don't think it's a dream. I just think it's kind of hanged out. So it's kind of like this is what happened. But this would be the first, more conscious thing that happened that involved actual lights in the sky doing stuff. So me, my uncle is probably 12. I was probably around the same age, 6 or 7, and we were in Sacramento at my uncle's house, who's a 33rd degree Mason, by the way. And for some reason, it was like at nighttime, probably in the middle of the night, him and I were up on the roof. And, we're like, there's a back porch. It kind of goes, parallel to the ground, and then it steps up. We were kind of like up in the middle of the roof, and all these lights were in the sky, moving around. And the color, I remember the color, I think some were amber and probably some blue ones, I think. But they're like sitting there, they move around. They're like playing games with each other. Like one would be here and they move to each other and they pop in and pop out over here and like playing games. And we were sitting on the porch looking at them and we're just laughing. And somehow, I don't know if I was in my physical body or if I know we have 2 bodies at least, or my dream body. So we were both sitting on the roof, and while we were playing around, he'd like, somehow, just a magnetic force. We'd shoot down, kind of not shoot, like stay down and shoot off the porchway, and we were in the sky, like playing around with them. It's like a total game. You know? That was my first, like, call it, dreamlike or hazy memory of the UFOs.
So were you able to get a look of a shape to these things, or was it just like a light in the sky?
These were, nothing like physical nuts and bolts. It was more like, lights.
Mm. Now, would you say it was like far off in the distance, or were they pretty close up to you guys?
These ones, I'd say probably a mile or two up in the air.
So a significant distance then.
Yeah, nothing up close.
So, I mean, how long did that last, do you suppose? I mean, you got an idea of how long it lasts, or was it?
It feels like a few hours, actually.
Interesting. Okay, so I'm guessing sleepwalking has been a problem for you?
Yeah, that's when we left California and moved to Phoenix. Stuff happened. My mom and aunt, we were in this, what was a little backstory? We were in this apartment, and I would sleepwalk all the time. And I remember one night I scared them so bad because my mom had planned going out and leaving us there to sleep, doing whatever something girls do. And I came out of the room sleepwalking and told them, don't go to where you're going. Something bad is going to happen. This and that. And, I had no idea that they had planned on going out. So I was, probably in bed by 7 or 8. And told them was coming off like this, and my aunt's kind of psychic too. My mom is as well, but I like to explain and do this badly.
Well, hold on a second there, Matt. Before you get too far, I'm sorry to interrupt. You've been breaking in and out, so I just want to rewind like maybe a sentence or two. So now you said you were sleepwalking, and you came out of your room, and then you told your mom that something bad was going to happen, and then that's about where we started losing you from.
Okay, sorry, I'm out in the middle of nowhere. Well, I was saying my was there, and they were planning on going out and leaving sleep, and I would have had this, but the way it happened, what I remember is more of like this feeling over my body. So I can remember part of this. I remember I slept-walked out there. I don't remember that part, and they woke me up right into the conversation because they're like, how did he know this?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what was planning? What we were planning on doing? So I scared them so badly. They took my sister and my other sister, and we all slept in the same room together. So, and I did sleepwalk quite a bit. Back then.
It's interesting because it kind of parallels. I don't know if you're familiar with Tony Rodriguez at all in his story, but he had said when he was being used as kind of like a guide or whatever for some drug cartel in South America, that's kind of like what happened with him. They put him in this sleep-like trance thing, and then he'd tell him whatever they were going to tell him. He had to tell him. He wouldn't remember what he was telling him, but it was kind of the same thing. How old were you when this happened?
I would have had to have been about 8, around then.
Okay. Were you ever injured as a result of finding yourself or while sleepwalking or waking up doing something weird while sleepwalking?
No, not.
Do I know you totally crackled out?
He said no.
Oh, right on.
Skype is being stupid tonight, man.
Seriously, like.
You still there, Matt?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, great. Now, do you still have a problem with sleepwalking to this day, or did it kind of go away?
No, that probably went away when I was like 9 or 10.
Okay, so it didn't last very long in the grand scheme. It's pretty interesting. Tell me about this weird white face guy hiding in your closet.
Okay. Yeah, that's actually that's a pre-story to my sleepwalking. When we moved from Truckee, California to Phoenix, we moved to my house, and a lot of bad shit happened there. I remember that same night where this happened, I got in trouble for something, so I was sent to bed early, like 7. And it's hard to explain more, but it's like more of a feeling, but also I was looking at it too. I knew something was coming. I was looking up at the corner where the ceiling and the wall meet, and these two little light things look like bullets, but they're like lights, bullet-shaped lights. One was kind of blue, one was bluish with red tinges in it, and they moved across the wall, and they went through the wall over to my sister's room. And I remember asking her the next day, and she's like, yeah, I saw those too. But I remember seeing those, and then I fell asleep and woke up in the middle, I don't know when it was, probably 3 o'clock, but middle of the night, I just woke up and I looked in my closet because it was like facing my bed, and there was this guy in my closet, if you can call him a guy. But he had a pale white face. He had red lips, like almost like lipstick. He had long hair. I can't remember what color, but I think it's more of a blonde color. I don't remember the clothes, but I remember the main thing I remember is his feet were not touching the ground. They were touching the wall. So, his feet are against the wall, and his shins are horizontal to the ground, and then he's sitting up, and I looked at him, and he smiled, and he like moved his hand like in a little slow way, and I almost shit myself. Like, I was like freaked the fuck out, dude. So yeah, I just pulled my head over my covers, put my head under the covers and just sat there, and I think I was like shaking, terrified for an hour.
Dude, I would have been freaked out if I had a floating blonde Robert Smith in my closet too.
Yeah, it was crazy, dude.
Well, so did you ever see that again? Or?
It does kind of remind me of that Cure song, Lullaby.
Yeah. So, did you ever see this guy again? Did he ever show back up? Did you ever find any more information out about that?
I did find information about it, but no, I never remember seeing that again.
Is this something
I was told that. Yeah, I was told that. I told this, Sharon Tony to some people years ago that work for. One of them works for Life This Group, California. I don't know if you're familiar with Sarah Borden. Or those people.
No.
Okay. Yeah, I kind of explained some of the stuff, and you're like, oh, those are called paraquins. I was like, paraquin? What are you talking about? And I guess they're a race of people that live on the moon who are actually, so they put on this or whatever, so they can be. That's what I'm told.
You're breaking up on us again, so let's just give it a second and then start over there. You said it's a race of people that live on the moon?
That's what I was told. I told the story to someone else. They're called paraquins.
So there's a drug called paraquin.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's 500 milligram tablets. Yeah, I was looking to see if I could find a picture or something.
Treatment.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I was told that, that's their name, and I guess the elite know about them. That's why they go to these masquerades, and people are wearing these white masks, so I guess. That's why I've been told about it. But for what I really know personally, I couldn't tell you.
Interesting. Yeah, no, that's the first one. That's a new one on me, man. I haven't heard that yet. I haven't heard that described yet. Okay, so now you've got some other family members that are psychic?
Yes. Well, my aunt, those times she was pretty damn psychic. And if, we define psychic, there's telepathy, telekinesis, but there's all.
Wow, so
You're
you're breaking up again, but you said your aunt can telepathy and telekinesis?
No, I said it depends how you want to define psychic.
Oh, okay. So this is more like a clairvoyant thing.
I mean, if you're going to get down to the scientific way it works, we have like 5 or 6 brains.
Mm-hmm.
We have our enteric brain system, which comprises of the heart, the gut, the solar plexus, all the cells in your body. I think we have 3 or 4 brains in our head. Actually, we have the cortical, the reptilian, all this, and they all function differently. So the brain in our enteric system, that's actually tied into the quantum field. So, and quantum is there's no time. Time doesn't exist.
And,
so,
I'm sorry. What was that? The which brain was it that ties into the field?
Quantum. I mean, sorry, enteric.
Enteric. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry about that. I just didn't catch what you said there. So
sorry, I'm kind of out in the middle of nowhere, so my signal's probably bad.
Well, I mean, we got a lot of things working against us here, so but we're gonna make it work, man. It's doing fine. For the most part, it's pretty good. All right, you guys out there listening, it's doing good. They'll hear that in about 30 seconds. So, all right, now you were explaining about. Let me get it back on track. Now I derailed it again. You were explaining about this third brain having access to this quantum field.
Right.
In relation. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's called the enteric brain. You have the bundle of nerves in your solar plexus, and then you have your myofascia, which connects into your gut and whatnot. But that is the part of your body that's more in tune with the quantum field than anything else. So if you want to, I digress too. If you want to go into being psychic, that is intuition, where you actually know things before they happen, because you're tied, your part of yourself is tied into it.
Mm-hmm.
There is only now, but there's future, present, and all this shit. So, like, my family is, we've always had these, like, feelings of solar plexus. I, like, just kind of know things even happen. And sometimes when things are about to be bad, it will totally warn the crap out of you. Like, oh, that's kind of like, I think the psychic family is more, but it also goes, to, sometimes like for me, and it will go into images and stuff. But man, it's pretty back then. She like images and all this stuff too. So yeah, my mom has always said that you can like walk into a room and there could be like one asshole in there, evil intentions, and she just like automatically know. It'd be more of a feeling. So
right.
I guess that hopefully that answers your question.
Okay. Well, I guess what I was trying to get out there was that. So your aunt told you it had something to do with the end of the world?
Yeah, that's like one memory. When all this stuff's happening, I remember her telling me, then I think it was 1907. I was 11, I guess, at that time. when all these planets are lining up and all this stuff. And I think, I can't remember clearly, but she's like, you have something really big to do at the end of the world. I'm like a little kid, like, what are you talking about? You know, I just remember it's like something that's stuck in my head. You know, I don't really know, but I kind of do know. So yeah, that's just something that's stuck in my head.
Yeah, I mean, I bet it would. It would
Yeah. Hey, okay, like, all right, whatever that means.
So, did she ever, elaborate on that, or did she just dropped it on you the one time and then that was it?
Yeah, like dropped it, and then actually, she's like, "Oh, I said that." And, yeah, I remember you said that, but she's already listened to this. She's like totally put all that psychic, shit kind of behind.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think she really wants to remember, but I do. That's like one thing that's stuck in my head. Like, why would a little kid just remember something like that and not even be real?
Right.
So.
So now you were talking about the solar plexus, I guess, was where that bundle of nerves was. Is that what you were saying?
Yes.
Okay, so now tell me about what happened with your solar plexus when you were reading Revelations. I mean, is this what's going on with that?
Yeah, that's
One
pretty weird.
Definitely a correlation between Christ and Tefarath. So I mean, perhaps you were having a psychic or spiritual awakening. That's actually pretty normal awakening type stuff in my book.
So, well, tell me about what exactly happened here. You said it would happen in a certain passage. And which passage was it? Passage.
Yeah, I mean, this is a really hard one for me. I sometimes don't even want to think about it, but I could just tell people what I experienced, whether it's true or not. I don't know, but I had a growing being this way, and from what I figured out why I was different, I had SRA, satanic rituals. I saw all yes, we're 33rd degree Masons.
You kind of broke up around SRA.
Yeah, after satanic ritual abuse and before 33 degree Masons, we lost that whole bit.
Okay, well, I was like, so my mom's side of the family, her father, I don't think her father, but I know his brothers, they were 33rd degree Masons, and I know that I was involved in SRA and involved in it. I just know. But, so, I kind of lost my train of thought.
No,
anyways.
Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I think there's correlation because I was troubled as a kid. I've been told that up to a certain point, I was the most sweetest and loving kid, that, anyone's just very sweet. And then something happened probably like around 7 or 8. And I have memories, those dreamlike memories, but I have them of what happened to me. I turned and I had this became extremely angry, extremely hurtful and confused and really fucked up for about 11. And, so I guess I may just give you a little story. I remember being in this room, I think a basement somewhere. In the middle of the room, there was this singularity, I guess you call it, this little
like
circle,
a vortex, or
it was something tapped into another dimension. And I remember this black smoke coming out of it, like this. But the feeling of that shit was so. I was fucking so scared. It was like a heavy feeling over me, and it came out, and then I can't remember what happened. But that was around the same time when I started to change my. I was extremely angry, and then kind of started to come out of that around 11, I guess. And I remember I was trying to, get answers at this of age, and I was reading, Revelations, and and back then, I was like, because my family were Christians and we were in churches, and I'd pray to Jesus and all that. But anyways, I had passed about like 2 witnesses. I don't know if it's true or not. I'm just telling you what I felt. And I remember reading them about them, and then all of a sudden this feeling like came over, like in my soul plexus. It just like took over this, like, saying like orgasm feeling, because that's well lower, but it's like just it right there in that part. My entire body was like going and vibrating, and like started shaking. But I was getting when I read that. It was like experiencing like that. So I told my mom, and we went to the minister, and he just kind of looked at me all weird, So that's I don't know what that is. But, with all the other crazy shit you're gonna hear about here later, I don't know. But yeah, that's that.
Well, I mean, it obviously stuck with you, so I mean, it's got to have some significance.
Yeah,
I mean, it means something. It's a spiritual feeling, and like why would it happen? And I remember it happened. I remember asking, like praying to this back then. Not that I don't know, but the same way. But and yes, okay. Well, that I don't know.
So, tell me about this Naval Space Command.
Okay. Well, let's go to my UFO experiences.
Okay.
Okay, so after that stuff happened when I was 11, I kind of was like waking up. Like what the hell is this world, and why are we doing this stuff? What is the point of all this? This is retarded. It really is. So I was like looking for answers. At 11, most kids are playing Legos. I'm looking for answers to the spiritual nature of reality. And I came across these books by Carlos Castaneda, which discuss your energy body, your dreaming body, how your thoughts shape reality, all this stuff. And I was able to do that kind of stuff. I was like, I think went on a few years, around 13 or 14, and I was able to like show people how to see energy. Like, here, do this, do that, and look. And they're like, oh my God. But
so how do you show others how to do that? Like, it's weird because like I can kind of see auras. Yeah, I've been fiddling with magic and stuff for a long time, and I can kind of make out auras a little bit. But I would have no clue as to instruct anybody else how to do it. You know what I mean? Like, it just kind of happens.
Right, and that kind of, before you get to that one, let me add another part. So, explain to me, like, what the energy looks like. Is it like a typical colored aura, or does it have a particular, I don't know, like, flow or any geometric shapes involved with it?
There is actually all that, but it's more than that as well. All right, think about it like this. What you're thinking, what your cortical brain is doing, it's a filter. It's filtering. I think the rational explanation is like 70 to 80 million bits of information, or trillion bits. I'm not going to look at it again, of information per second, which your entire body is experiencing. And then your thought process, you're getting 15 bits of that information. That's all it's able to handle. So while you're getting all this information flowing to you from, where we're at is the frequency realm. Your brain is like taking a little minuscule amount and creating reality around you. So it could be colors, it could be geometric shapes, it could be your hand in front of you, it could be, you know, it could be all these things. But in the, you know, the real reality, it's like a sound vibration which turns to light, and then it turns to matter. Um, so when I was showing people, I mean, I knew this stuff when I was like my early teens. I don't know how I knew. I didn't know back then how I knew, but you know, I was like telling my friends, "Hey, stop your thoughts. Can you stop your thoughts?" I'm like, "What the are you talking about?" I'm like, "No, just stop your thoughts." And you know, would listen to me. Most were like, "You're fucking nuts." And you know, they'd thoughts. I lend them, everyone, you know, help them, and they stop their thoughts. They're like, "Okay, while your thoughts are stopped, squint your eyes and just look at stuff." And then they'd start seeing the glow, like you're seeing the auras around stuff. Energy is more. It's not more of a visual thing. It can be, but it's more of a bodily process. It's more of what you're feeling as your total self. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. All right, so basically, to answer Dan's question, you just would have them stop their thoughts and squinch their eyes.
Yeah, so basic meditation techniques.
Right.
Silence
Yeah, I
your
mean, that,
voice. That sort of thing.
yeah, that's kind of like the basic step, but there's also like, because I was doing it all the time, I was also able to lend my energy, to put it in words. You know, like, hey, let's do this. It would work for them, and it kind of flipped out. And it actually goes into my full-blown UFO experience. Because I had, you know, I had that hazy memory with my uncle, but I really, you know,
You think
we lost that.
Yeah, you think maybe if we reconnected, like hung up and reconnected, we'd get a better call?
Probably not. Just doesn't want to cooperate. You still there, right, Matt?
yes.
Yeah, you're breaking. It's doing this thing. You sound like this. Shit ain't cool.
It makes you wonder if it's just a bad connection or if Skype is censoring this call because because the powers that be don't want this information getting out.
Well, yeah, I have a lot of that, man.
Well, I mean, when we get to the break, we'll try to reconnect, but I'm not gonna. We only got 15 minutes till then, so I'm not gonna try and mess with it now. The space command. You're guided out to. This is after you've gained this ability to start seeing energy. Is when you start having more UFO experiences, like outside of that first one when you were with your uncle. Is that correct?
Oh, yes. That's like I think at that time, I think I was 16 or almost 17, and I've been doing the energy stuff for a while at that point. And like at that point, you know, I'm still normal. I'm pretty weird, but I'm still like a normal person. And like sometimes, like I just call it the spirit because I really don't know what it is. But it's like these things would come to me, and I like see signs and stuff. And I had been having this feeling all day, like I got to go out somewhere, and I had no idea where. And these were I knew I had to bring 2 people, and I don't know how I know that, but I knew. And it was crazy. Like out of nowhere, these huge winds would come up and like blow where we were, you know, with these people, and like, they're like, what the fuck is that? I'm like, I don't know, but I got to take 2 people with me. Let's go. But they knew I can see energy. So 2 of my friends went with me, and when I drove, it was like I wasn't even driving. It was like something else was making me turn left, making me turn right. And we ended up at this place. There's a little town called Mobile, Arizona. It's to the southwest corner of the Australia Mountains. So we went out there and at this place, and this, from our vantage point, this mountain looked just like a pyramid. And I was showing them how to see energy deeper there. And his name was Mark Vickerman, and another friend, I think he's Navajo, named Boise. And excuse me, I was showing them, and I was like, I just called the zone. Right? I was like totally connected to the spirit at that point. But I was showing Mike how to see energy to the east, and something happened. He's like, all these dark holes are coming, and they're coming on me. And that same time, I was telling Boise how to see energy on that Triangle Mountain, and he's like, there's this huge vortex on it, and it's like taking me in. And then they both fell to the ground at the same time, and they're clutching their navel area, screaming. They were screaming, and I automatically knew that they were dying, like something had happened. And then something told me to grab these rocks and put it over that part of their body, and I did that. And right at that point, because I could feel it too in my body that their energy was okay, there was this bright star to the west, just sitting there, and I was like, what the fuck? That's weird. You know, it's bigger and brighter than Venus.
Something that shouldn't be there.
Yeah, definitely not normal. So I was like looking at it. At that point they kind of got up and they're back in their bodies. And then these two red lights appeared out of nowhere, and they were underneath that star-like thing, and they formed the base of a triangle. So the star's the apex. Those two red lights are the base, right? You know, and like, this is the first time in my full conscious awareness, ever dealing with anything like this. And you're like, what the hell? But also, like, before that star appeared, like, there's like no sound in the desert whatsoever, any bugs or anything, just like totally dead quiet. It's weird. So we're looking at this, you know, triangle in the sky with a star at the apex and the two red lights at the base. Then the star turned red, and they all went across the sky from, you know, east to west, and they kind of broke up. And then there's all these blue lights moving. I mean, just like, it's like, I don't know, really can't explain it. It's like it's time warp or something. But also there's like all these other lights like moving around doing shit, like blue lights, and there's a freaking plane, like a little pipe, you know, Cessna plane. Like, what the hell? But they're all, you know, there had to be like 30 or 40 things moving around. And then towards the end, there was this ship. It had to have been half the size of this we're close to.
All right, hold on. The description of the ship got broken up. Can you just re-describe that for us?
Yes, it was. We were in this kind of in between two little mountain ranges. Mm-hmm. This ship was probably half the size of one of the mountains. So it was freaking huge. It was. Wow. Can't even imagine how huge it was. And also, while the stuff was going on, there were 5 humongous pulsating red lights to the southwest, just pulsating. But anyways, this ship, it kind of went, you know, it was going east to west, kind of went in front of us. It was so big, you know, my friend Boise, he fucking flipped out. He's like, oh, there's a car blinker light on the freeway. Man, this isn't the sky. And then it went down, it went into the ground. It just went into the ground. And then it kind of everything stopped at that point. And then 3 days later, you know, I was like, I knew I had all this energy and spiritual stuff, but I never had anything UFO happen that I remember. consciously. So I was kind of like in a weird daze for a few days. And then 3 days later, I was with one of the guys that saw that with me. And we were out just, doing teen shit. And all of a sudden, there was like this weird heavy feeling. And then this little gray thing came in front of me. Little thing with big eyes. And it was handled a certain way. And for some reason, I copied it. Exactly. It's like weird wavy hand movement. It's really hard to explain. But I did the same thing. And all of a sudden, there's like this vibration to me. Like uncontrollable. I was like buzzing. And then I turned to my friend who's sitting a little bit of ways, and this sound came out of me. I can still kind of reproduce it, but not the intensity. But this sound came out of me, and it's like this out of my stomach and soul. It just like, and it went. And for some reason, I pushed into him, and he's kind of convulsing. He's like, I could feel that in me, around me, and I didn't no clue what was going on back then. But that thing basically got into my head, and I was seeing their collective, and it was like seeing out of my left eye.
Mm-hmm.
It was weird. It was freaking weird, man.
Now this was a gray.
Yeah, it's there's different kinds of grays. This was, I believe, robotic gray. One of the.
I'm sorry, you broke up. It was a robotic gray. Is that what you said?
Yeah, I believe that was
the shorter
biosuit.
ones, right?
Yeah, shorter. I mean, there's different kinds of grays. But
Right.
This
There's
one,
the short ones, the tall ones, the slightly reptilian ones, the ones with human eyes. We've heard a lot of different variations on grays.
Yeah, no doubt.
yeah, but they're so some of them they're like bio.
Right. So this was this was a biobot gray, is for lack of better words. But
Yeah,
we know the type.
I feel it is. Yeah.
Okay. Wow, that's pretty interesting. So this bot gray was trying to merge you into what is it, like a gray bot collective type thing, or?
Well, I remember what I was seeing when it happened. Like I was seeing like all these huge eyes, like all connected. I don't know how many, like the millions of them, like, all connected together. They all like have like same thoughts together, but at the same time, like part of my head was in that room. It was to also look through my, and it's like it's so hard to explain. Like it was looking through what I'm, and it was like trying to control me. But then I'm like, what the fuck is this? So it's like, yeah, tried to merge me, but when I, with whatever it did, and I was too naive back then to know what was going on, something in me, like, that's why I made that sound, and it came at me. It's like I pushed most of that energy out of my body, and unfortunately, my friend, it went into him, and he had some issues.
So it went into your friend.
Excuse me?
I'm sorry, I must have misunderstood what you were saying there.
No, whatever it tried to do to me, something in me pushed most of that energy out of myself.
Oh, okay.
So, like psychic defenses,
Yeah,
like you were
basically
able
like
to
a
do
automatic.
something to force it. Yeah, I dig that because, I've had some run-ins with presences or spiritual entities or other things that were super malefic, and you really can feel it. You can feel like spiritual tentacles slithering through the back of your mind. It's a really weird and creepy feeling.
Yeah, it was not good. Whatever was going on.
Very interesting. I don't think I've heard anything quite like this yet.
Well, but I've heard about other aliens that were definitely psychic. Like the Draconians are
Right?
supposed to
Yeah,
be
but
super psychic. Like
the whole robot or biobot gray thing, you would think that. Well, I guess I don't know. It's
if
just
it's a robot,
strange, man. I mean,
if it's super high tech like that, like Type 2, Type 3 tech, then I would imagine it's even if it's robotic, it's capable of probing your mind and doing
Right.
some basic
Well,
analysis on your
it's
thought
not
patterns.
it's not the actual biosuit, I guess I'd call it. It's whatever energy or consciousness is actually controlling it.
Okay, so this one was actually being driven around. It wasn't like autonomous.
Yeah, it was definitely. It had an objective, and it knew what it was doing, and it tried to do it. And dude, it screwed me up for like 3 years, almost for at least 2 of those years. I couldn't connect because back then I was able to like really talk fluidly with people and express myself so perfect, and people were like, "Oh my God, wow, you're so fucking smart," and you know, it was pretty cool. But after that happened, I was not able to connect to my speech. I couldn't relate to my friends. I couldn't. I kept looking for these flows in the sky, like, where are you at? Help me! And like, what the hell, dude? I like lost a huge part of my motivation when that happened, of what I was doing with my energy work. You know, it derailed me. It made me. I guess the feeling of whatever energy put into me is like a drug. It's like, and then I kept looking for it over and over. Like, where are you at? You know, I couldn't speak even to my best friends. Like, they're like, "What's wrong with you?" I was like, I couldn't explain to them.
Like the intent was there, but you just couldn't get it out.
Right.
Like, do you think that was some sort of programming type block?
Like if you ate like way too many marijuana edibles. And
Yeah, it was a definite block. It's like because what I am gathered now. I was I was doing some pretty advanced shit as a teenager, and
it sounds like it.
These things notice, and like, okay, you can't do that. So that's kind of what they did, and it screwed me up for many years.
Now, I'll ask you this now, but if you want to come back to it later on in the discussion, we can. Did you ever figure out what was driving those things?
Well, yes. And, okay. What I understand now is kind of like what's still going on to this day. There is a collective of beings that they're totally infused with an artificial intelligence. It's like, they're infused with. They have it in their bodies. It connects them to that.
You said an AI?
Yeah, and they call them the AI Integrated Collective. They're infused with this stuff. So, it makes them, they're all kind of like one mind, but, they're also separate.
Kind of like the board?
So, like sentient nanites, or?
Yeah, they have nanites in them. That's kind of how it works. The grays, they can be used as suits for whatever being in this collective can go into this body. It's all vibrational physics how it works, but they're actually pretty limited on the dimensional scale of where they can go. They can't go past 5 dimensions.
Mm-hmm.
Yo.
But,
you remember that thing in Stargate where they had it was like the replicator disruptor thing, and they went to Chulak and it looked like the big thing with the dish on the front of it, and they used it. It was the weapon. They shot it through the one Stargate, and it went out through the whole galaxy and killed all the replicators.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe that's why they're visiting us, because they're afraid that Earthlings are going to come up with some stupid idea like that will actually end up to the destruction of their entire species. Yeah, kind of when they were blasting the replicators with shotguns, and Thor was all like, "Oh, well, we wouldn't ever thought to use chemical-propelled balls of lead fired out of a tube."
Actually, not far from the truth, man. A little different scenario.
We talk about that a lot here, actually, how a lot of stuff on sci-fi is actually kind of soft disclosure. Yeah. So,
and believe
very
it or not,
little of that would shock me.
Believe it or not, this isn't like any kind of mind-shattering stuff for us. We talk about this kind of stuff all the time, so...
You've come to the right place.
We got you, man. We got you.
Sweet.
So, So you're saying this was an AI, a sentient AI, that was attacking you. Which I would take this whole thing as an attack because, I mean...
It was definitely... So whatever guided me out to witness that, and there's more stories to that too, out there in that place. I could probably like take people out there physically and look at this, but whatever noticed me that was showing my two friends how to see, and then we're seeing these ships which I don't believe most people can see because they're in a different frequency and different dimension. So they're like, oh, there's one of the humans who can actually see us. So we're gonna go stop that shit.
No.
Yeah, they went and stopped it, and for a while until Owen showed up, which were even more intense. But yeah, out in that area where I was guided to, I remember I kept going back, like I kept going out there, like trying to figure out what the fuck happened. I remember driving around. It's like all these dirt roads, and there's like this plaque in the middle of nowhere, and it said Naval Space Command. In the middle of nowhere, on a dirt road, Naval Space Command. I'm like, what the hell is that? Do we even have a Naval Space Command? Okay, so, and then I remember where that ship went into the ground. So I drove there too, at one of my little ventures. And it's a sort of dump or whatever, but there's 15 or 15 foot high barbed wire fence, all crazy, and there's guard towers there. And I drove up, I think it was probably 7 or 8, I think. And I was like looking at it, what the fuck? So I remember that's where that went into. And then one of the guard towers turned the spotlight on me. And this is supposed to be a garbage dump? Yeah. Yeah, so, and it goes into my memory of being in an underground base. I think it was that one as well. But
okay, well, listen, man, we gotta jump to about a 10-minute break. So if you need to stretch your legs, use the restroom, whatever you gotta do, now would be the time. And when we get back, we're gonna be talking more with Matt about some more UFO sightings. We're gonna get into this whole Annunaki Fractal thing. It's very interesting, or Anu, however you want to phrase it.
I'm actually very fascinated by all this.
Oops, sorry, Dave, I had you off.
I'm very fascinated by all this, and actually the whole thought thing too. That's pretty high on my list of priorities. So I definitely want to hear more.
So yeah, we're definitely gonna get into that when we get back, and a whole lot more. And you guys out there watching right now, if you've got, I guess probably last 20 minutes or so, if we got the time, I'll go ahead and open it up for questions for you guys if you have questions for Matt. If you're watching over on Twitch at that point and you got a question, you want to hop over to YouTube or any of the other channels that we're broadcasting on right now, hop over to YouTube to ask your question, because unfortunately right now that's the only chat we can monitor. So, but yeah, we will be back shortly, you guys, and we'll see you on the other side.
Thanks, everybody.
The company store, the paradigm of absolute control. And that's why we're just out here doing simple things, pointing out that we're meant to be in nature and be natural. And this is where we find the source that God made to transcend the New World Order. And that's why they want to try to keep us out of it.
I'm angry. I've had enough of these people. They're a bunch of Christian murderers scum. They're on giant death factories keeping babies alive and selling their body parts. What more do you need to know about these people? I go out and face these scum. They literally crawl out from under rocks. They have green looking skin and they run around screaming, we love Satan, we wanna eat babies. I have them on video. Hillary's in the creepy weird sick stuff, man. She sleeps in the same room with that creepy weird woman whose mother wears a hood over her head. What the hell? That woman number one is ugly. Imagine how bad she smells, man. I'm told her and Obama just stink. Obama and Hillary. we both smell like sulfur. Literal vampire pot belly goblins are hobbling round coming after us. My spirit gets close to that evil and I feel it go. We're such self-centered crap, we don't even notice hell itself rising up against us. Millions of pointed people of the very worst type, and I'm so pissed. We're gonna stab your daughter at the mall. We're gonna stab your wife, your son. We're gonna stab you with a butcher knife, and then the police chief is gonna say, we love our Somalis, we love our Muslims. Oh, they're so good, oh, they're so sweet.
Like beef. I smell 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 like beef.
this fucking thing over here. Where'd it go? This thing right here to Amtrak, and then try to see what else we got to say about it.
I want to. Already 1.5% of all babies born in Western Europe and America will need to continue.
That's the thing, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about at all. Shut up.
Continue reading this article.
Yeah, well, you
thanks,
know
these
that.
scientists. Eat my balls.
How about you donate to our Patreon?
All right. Oh, that was an incredible douchebag tonight, man.
Yeah.
Я пришел дать эту песню.
That's muted. Oops. Hey guys, we are back for hour 2, the hour of the power, as I like to call it, because I like Bill Cooper. He's fucking awesome.
Rest in peace.
Rest in
Sweet
peace.
Prince.
So guys, if you like what you see over here, I mean, we've got plenty of stuff for you guys to check out. If you're over there watching on Twitch, you can hop over to YouTube, subscribe to our YouTube channel. We've definitely got more videos that come up over there than it's on Twitch. We've got an awesome Facebook group. that would be called.
And welcome aboard to our new Twitch subscribers, by the way. I just noticed that we
Yeah.
just tonight picked up.
I know there's people out there
folks
watching on Twitch,
so.
and like I said, if you guys are gonna have questions from Matt, you're gonna have to jump over to YouTube. So, sorry, I apologize for that. But
we don't love you any less.
you can also give us a shout out on Twitter at RealityBrief111. Like I said, we got the Facebook page, we got the Facebook group, which is freaking awesome, excellent, by the way. We got a lot of cool people in there and post cool shit all the time. It's really cool to check out. Yeah, I'm so going, blah 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 blah. Also, if you still feel inclined to maybe give us a buck or two, you can check us out on patreon.com/realitybrief or realitybrief.bandcamp.com.
Yeah, because we have the whole pay whatever you want for an episode on Bandcamp.
So you can get some.
You don't have to commit, because look, if anybody here understands the fear of commitment, it's me.
Booyah! So Matt, you back with us?
I'm here.
Oh, did you enjoy this feel? We gotta do every time.
Oh, it's actually pretty sweet. That's pretty cool.
We're eventually gonna make a commercial, so we don't have to fucking do that anymore. We're just gonna play during the break, but time is limited. You know how that is.
Oh yeah.
So before we left off, or before we went to break, we were talking about the situation with the what'd you call them, biosuits, the biosuit grays, and the attack. And you had said that it was an AI controlling it. So I had a question. And I thought,
no, it's not exactly an AI. It's it's a collective of beings.
Okay, so it's actual what?
They've infused their collective with an artificial intelligence. So it's kind of like their god. They're all connected in their minds.
Mm-hmm. So it's
with
like
this system.
So it's an organic consciousness inside that's been digitized. Is that what you're saying? Or is it's like totally deeper than that, like on fifth dimensional level or some shit?
Yeah, it's pretty deep. It's started as organic, just like we are, to a point, but they're all connected by their minds with this artificial intelligence. So it's like this whole collective of beings. It includes some, not all of them. It includes humans are now part of that. And who knows how many other ones. Reptilian part of it, all these other beings, they're all part of this collective. It's a huge, I don't know how many are in it, but a lot. So they're all integrated together. They can all connect mind to mind. One being like the one that I experienced. This is what I feel, I know for a fact, but it was more like a biosuit. So another awareness could take over its body and do action through it in the three-dimensional realm.
Mm-hmm.
They can go up, like the fourth dimension is where we dream. It's called the astral world. The fifth dimension is where we merge our physical reality, 3D, with the dream world. So that's kind of the limit of how far that can go with what they're doing. But yeah, I feel that thing was, more than flight. I knew that thing was, something else was controlling that body in this realm.
Mm-hmm.
It was that way.
So now, do you think that this could be linked to the black goo that we hear so much about?
Yes, that is totally a part of it.
I've also heard it called gray goo, but I mean, let's not split hairs.
Well, there's also white goo too.
Right.
Fair enough.
And I think Elena was talking about blue goo. No, it was green goo. It was regenerative. Okay, so, well, can you elaborate on that a little bit? Like, how is it connected?
Okay, so from my current understanding, we, I don't know how much you guys know about how dimensions work, or frequencies, or, you know, the universe kind of constructed like an onion. There's a layer here. We're in the third dimension. It's a layer of frequencies that are kind of slowed down. There's a next layer over that's a little more fluid, where you can use your thoughts to kind of move around. The next layer up, you can move your thoughts and your physical body merged into one, and that's 5D. And it goes on up, I think up to 13 dimensions.
Interesting. Yeah, I've heard, because, I've heard, like the Vedic model has, the Vedic or Buddhic models have 7 worlds. The Enochian has 30. The Kabbalistic has 10, and then there's the paths, which are arguably sub-realms.
And, we talked about this. I did a roundtable with Penny Bradley, Elena, and Kevin Tramal, and they were talking about this in detail in the 13 round, and there was some.
It's the same as Nancy's,
so one
right?
person was like, "Well, I hadn't heard about that many," and there was like, "Yeah, 13." Blah, blah, blah. So if you guys out there watching, you want to get a little bit more on that, you can find that on our channel too, and check that out. They go into,
Yeah, from what I'm hearing, there's 13, but within the 13, within even 3 dimensions, there's sub layers.
Right.
So it's kind of hard to pinpoint and to figure it all out, but there's definitely layers upon layers upon layers upon layers of reality. Oh
yeah, and there's the pocket realms within pocket dimensions. I remember I read a book a long time ago called Astral Dynamics that was talking about one person's experiences with out of body experiences and astral projection and stuff. And I remember reading about how his view of the planes was. It was like you were flying between 2 infinite planes of squares, and within each square there was, basically like a universe.
Pretty much. In infinity, if you think about it, infinity, what does that mean?
Yeah.
It means it goes on forever.
And
there's
infinity of infinities.
And in infinity, there's unlimited possibilities. Like, basically anything you could think about and anything you cannot even imagine, it exists in infinity, So it's mind-boggling on the linear terms. It's definitely really hard to pinpoint.
Like the timeline where we're having this exact same conversation, but we're all cats.
Speaking of alternate timelines of cats, somebody posted a video into our awesome Facebook group that showed exactly that scenario. It was pretty damn funny, actually. So
bet Kitty Reality Brief is awesome.
Yeah. You think in Kitty Reality Brief they have little humans that jump up on the table and meow?
Yes.
That's cool.
Oh shit! I just derailed it again, didn't I? Woo! All right, so we were talking about the multiverse. Where were we going with that, though?
Oh,
well, but that's right. I went out and saw that plaque that said Naval Space Command, and how that, that gray thing, whether it's, I'm pretty sure it is. It's part of the AI collective. Did whatever to me to derail me off what I was doing back then. Showing people how to use their true power. Like, hey, it's really energy. This is energy. This is what you're seeing is not even true. So that's what I was doing, and it derailed me. And I have memories around the same. One of the hazy memories, though, like not like the real life memory of being in this under cavern, and there was a Quonset hut, like there, and I was walking away from it, and then I think I was walking around for like 2 days, and there's like all this weird water canal storage areas, it's all crumbling buildings, and it's like crevice I remember crawling up out of and getting out of that underground base, and base there, South Phoenix. I just don't know how I know, but I know that it was that. And I know that I also had help getting out of that, because whatever they're doing to me, there's people on the inside too that, you know, like, we're going to help certain people. So I was helped to get released from whatever's happening.
So somebody from the inside helped you, release you from that.
Yeah.
Do you have
whatever they're doing to me, and that information too. I don't know how much you guys know about the ACIO.
We've heard a fair bit.
Yeah, actually.
The ACIO, we've it's been mentioned quite a few times on this show.
Try this on for size there, Matt.
All right, cool. Okay. The old head of the ACIO, he used to go by, I guess, 15 because his clearance level. He also goes by Airborne. And a few other names, just depending on, you know, where it's at. I kind of clued in that it's a person that got me out of this situation.
Okay. So,
you know, he's going public in the 2000s.
You broke up there. I think you said he's not public?
No, he started going public with information in like the early 2000s. With kind of what's really going on. But yeah, I've been pretty much clued in that was the one who helped me out of that situation.
Well, we do have someone chiming in on the chat that would like you to define the ACIO. Like, I'm assuming, what does it stand for?
Alien Contact Information Office, right?
Actually, it's Advanced Contact Intelligence Organization.
Oh, okay.
Now, what
the Alien Contact Intelligence Operation, whatever. That's kind of been named after Borden left, and it's kind of a way to, excuse me, kind of a way to keep people at aliens. Oh, I don't even want to look at that.
Right.
I don't even believe it.
Right.
So it's advanced contact.
So, can you tell me what this has to do with WingMakers?
It has a lot to do with WingMakers. Okay. So, think about technology that we have where you can travel forward and back in time. And think about on one of the timelines, some bad shit's going to happen. Like, Nibiru is going to come, or the Nibiru is a crossing point, but this planet's going to come and totally fuck shit up here on Earth. And then at the same time, there's this collective that's trying to integrate humanity with it. Because we're huge, you know, or just
Who, what now?
Sorry, that's just, all we heard was because there's it was pretty interesting. Well, I'm sorry.
Okay, where did you leave off?
Dude, I don't know.
Hello?
Just retrace the last like 6 words that you said.
I can't remember. Get my train of thought back. So,
sorry, man.
Like the
Yeah, it's we didn't get anything. What we were talking about was how the WingMakers relate to the ACIO there.
Okay, so A.R. Borden, he was head of the ACIO. They discovered a site in New Mexico, like Chaco Canyon. It had certain technology.
It had certain technology. Is that what you said?
It was beyond. Are you guys hearing me okay?
Yeah, you did. You broke up. I did kind of get. You were saying they found a site in Mexico. Is that what you said?
Yes, in Chaco Canyon.
And it had certain technologies in it, and that was about where it broke off at.
Okay, that technology was beyond the technology that they were used to when dealing with the reptilians or dealing with the Cortium. I guess that would be the Annunaki and certain greys and all these other species that they've been dealing with. So this technology was actually beyond that, and so it for more these are actually time travelers. Okay, so which they're part us, part Anunnaki, part other other beings that saw what's happening, how we're trying to be integrated with this collective that is not good for us. So they came back into certain points and left certain things here for people to wake up and do stuff. And so anyways, so when he retired from the ACIO, he came out with the information, put it out as a story.
Okay, so you broke off there, but you said what we got was when he left the ACIO, he put it out as a story under WingMakers.
Yes, it came out as kind of like a myth.
Mm-hmm.
Because it could. So what we gotta do, because we're definitely that shit, right? And so it came out as
I'm sorry, man. I'm not laughing at you.
We're disrupting your transmission pretty hardcore.
Yeah, they're screwing with it hard, man. So basically, we didn't get anything again. So
maybe let me
hates us.
Maybe let me reword it. Okay, so yeah, they don't like the situation. The WingMakers story, the original part of it was a myth.
Mm-hmm.
With little pieces and bits of the information that certain people needed to get.
And that would be the whole cave with the paintings and all that kind of stuff, right? The myth part.
Like, here's something, so we have, I'm sure you guys know on this planet we have sensors. They look at all the information, and if something's too close to home, they're going to come fuck with it. So the original WingMaker story was put out in a way that it bypassed those sensors. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. I'm following you.
Okay, so and the reality, the WingMakers, they are also a collective of beings who had gotten caught up in this AI collective, which we're facing right now. And, we know we have time travel technology. Definitely. So they came back and seeded certain things for certain things to happen to create another timeline out of this timeline that we're heading into right now. And Airborne was part of that. Some of the Anunnaki were also part of that. Humans were part of that, which actually goes into the fractal and the newer fractal things. But so it's like they're existing in a future reality. Maybe some are in the Pleiades, maybe some are on Arcturus, wherever they're at, and it's not a good place. So they use their technology to come back to the starting point, even way back further, and see the sort of information for people to get, to to create a different timeline that we can get out of that situation. So that's kind of like the WingMakers in a, you know, a boiled down version, like really boiled down.
So that means that somewhere out there, there's a timeline where we're doing this show and things actually work.
we've got we've got a real sponsorship, and we're not just sponsored by the Jesuit order.
Well, yeah, what was it about? I was asking you guys.
Oh, it's just a joke, man. We do that shit all the time. But sometimes we're sponsored by, you know.
This episode brought to you by the Tavistock Institute.
Yeah.
And the George H.W. Bush Fund for Regime Change.
Or the Protocols of the Elder Zion, or whatever it's called. You know, it happens. But most of all, we are sponsored by you guys out there listening right now, our lovely Patreon subscribers. We'd like to give them a hand right now. Thank you guys for sponsoring us. We love you. So we are getting a little bit low on time. So since we're kind of almost to that point, like, can we jump into the?
I had some big questions about the whole Thoth thing myself. Like,
yeah, can we?
That is very relevant.
Let's
to
go
my
ahead
interest.
and talk about this Annunaki thing. So just right out the gate, can you explain to us what a Annunaki Fractal is?
I'll do my best, and this is like something that's, you know, just kind of like really base. I've told you about some experience that I've had, but I've had probably 70, 80, 90 more UFO experiences on top of that, all, you know, like, and I'm like, what the hell is this about? But anyways, what I've, from those experiences and my connections to people that have gone through the thing, I know you guys know Penny pretty well, but also many others that are actually, I don't know if you've heard of Michael Lee Hill and a few other people. I've kind of gotten connected with them. And one of them I got connected with, he was portraying himself as Thoth. I'm like, well, that's pretty interesting, because I didn't really know much about that. We became friends after a very intense experience with some pretty bad UFOs and aliens for me personally. And we became friends. And I was like, oh, so cool, man. I actually know Thoth, and he actually is. Does, you know. And one night he called me, right? And like right before the phone call, I was walking through the house, and I know I'd come home from work and unlock the door. I walk by the door's wide open, unlocked. I'm like, what the fuck? All right, so I shut the door and lock it, and then he calls, and I'm out in the back patio, and we're talking, kind of like we're talking about some stuff, and you know that you're a fractal too. Like, what are you talking about? It's an aspect of Thoth, which that's a certain dimension. It's Nishida on a different dimension, which is kind of hard to explain.
Yeah, because
like,
these are god names as far as I know, you know.
Yeah, well, it was kind of hard for me to take. I'm like, oh, what? And he's like, here, let me send you something in my email. So he sent me some stuff that he had written years ago, and it's exactly mine.
I'm sorry, you broke up. Did you say his handwriting was exactly like yours?
Exactly like mine, dude. Like,
far out.
Yeah, I was like, he's like, now you know. Because we kind of, like, we get the same thoughts at the same time, but expressed in different ways, but also other ones too. So after we got the phone, I went back inside, and the door was wide open again. And I just locked it again. It's like, okay, this is freaking weird. So anyways, kind of since that point, I've connected with many others. And what I understand is these beings exist on the layers of dimensions, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in the fifth dimension, this being will have one name. 6th will have another name. On the 8th or 12th, another name. And the Annunaki. Hello?
Yeah, we're here.
Yeah, we're here.
Sorry, I got to put my power on my phone because it's about to die, I think.
Oh, okay.
Shit, hold on 1 sec. Okay, so the Anunnaki were allowed to split their energy up into 60 different human bodies because our energy level is much lower. Hold on a sec. Yeah, our energy, the amount of bioelectricity our bodies can handle, if all the energy would have gone into one body, it would kill it.
Poof.
So these beings are able to handle a lot more bioelectricity than human body can handle. So it's more the ones that want to help humanity. They split their electricity, which is their soul, up into 60 pieces, and it went into different bodies, different places, different times. So what I was told, like, I'm one of them. I was like, okay, well, all right, and I'm going to believe that. And then he showed me his handwriting, and okay, and not just that.
Uh-oh.
I've been told by like 20 or 30 other people, yes, this is true, and not just people, it's other ones too.
I hear the black helicopter.
Yeah, is that you or us? Are they coming for you or us? Do you hear a helicopter right now? It's getting pretty loud.
No, I'm in the middle of nowhere.
It's probably here.
Yeah, we're pretty.
I'm out camping in the middle of nowhere because I had to get away from shit. But yeah,
we're right in the heart of the Imperial Military Industrial Complex, capital of the East Coast.
It's not out of ordinary. Just get occasional helicopter traffic. So this guy's telling you that you are a splinter of Thoth, and he showed you his handwriting, and it matches yours, but you're still not quite there believing him yet.
Exactly. Yes.
I mean, I'm with it. During my last major astral travel, like, I had a long and extensive talk with Thoth, so, like, you know. I mean, I'm with it. Like, and that the whole splitting up between various physical bodies actually kind of makes sense if it's a higher dimensional being.
Well,
Like,
Dan, I hate to pop your bubble, but that was actually just me. You were tripping that hard.
you don't know that.
That's great.
So, you're my spirit animal, so I know what you look like when I'm out of my body.
Oh shit! I'm sorry, Rat. So yeah, like I was saying, that
He really is my spirit animal. I'm not kidding.
I won't deny it. So, what finally convinced you then?
Well, he's a friend of mine, and okay, this makes sense. And then I started looking back at all these experiences I've had. Like, why have I had all these should happen? So it kind of clicked. Okay, that would make sense. You know, it's kind of SSP related, but it's actually a little different.
Mm-hmm.
It's not quite nuts and bolts for me. So I go, okay, that makes sense. But then I connected to other people, other fractals like me, and we all get like something. I'll like get some sort of, I can't explain it. Just like some crazy thing to start writing about something, right? And then I'll notice around the same time, we all get the same thought. But also, recently, it's not just that. I'm actually hearing them in my mind.
The other fractals?
I call them the higher ups on the higher dimension.
Okay, so you're
the other fractals, we all get the same process. Like, I'll have there's a green tree, and then I'll notice like 5 or 6 of the other ones will start talking about green trees. You know, like, that's like.
Yeah, no, I was just wondering if you were hearing the other fractals, but you clarified it for us. I did want to ask you one thing though, and I feel like you're kind of getting ready to get into it. Now these Anunnaki. So the ancient beings, are these the Anunnaki from lore, like Sitchin lore, the ancient alien creators of man type thing?
Yes, and a lot of that. Let me just state up. A lot of what you hear on Gaia, true, but it's information. So
Oh, they're censoring that. Huh?
Yeah, it's a guy. I took that one out. So you're saying what you hear on Guy is true, but it's what?
it's information because they're not getting the whole story.
Disinformation.
Filtered.
Right. Now the other question I had was when these Anunnakis split their energy into 60 fractals, do they still exist in that higher plane, or have they now come down into the 3D?
No, they also stood in that at the same time.
So is it like, do they work in concert? Do they work with, typical similar, see if you guys share thoughts, that means that you work with similar purpose or?
Similar purpose, similar state. We're all sovereign as well. We're all individuals.
Mm-hmm.
That's part of the free will of our universe, It's hard to grasp what is actually happening in linear terms because it's not linear,
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Not at all. It's like the Anunnaki are probably a step up of what humans are.
So the arrow of time only really exists for third density creatures such as ourselves.
Yes.
Fair enough. That jives with what I've heard with a lot of other from other sources. So makes sense.
And there's bad people. There's people that want to help people. And there's people that don't give a fuck about anyone else. And they want to hurt people. Whatever. There's the same thing with the Anunnaki, and then the same thing with other beings.
Now, is the Anunnaki something they call themselves, or is that a name that we have given to them?
That's the name. That Anunnaki means those from heaven to earth came. That's the way that language works.
Right, Sumerian.
Yeah, and means heaven. I think Nu means came, and then Ki means earth. They actually call themselves the Sa'ami. That's their home planet.
Interesting.
Or you can call them Sams, So they exist on that planet that got pulled in by our solar system and is coming around right now. Again, that's why all this shit's going on, because a part of that aspect of things.
Now, when you say all this shit is going on, what are you referring to?
Oh, dude, so much going on. Not just planets back around. That's why everyone's kind of waking up, because it's more of a frequency thing. Like, ooh, they're just waking up, or like, oh, you're in Mulan, but there's also other stuff going on too that has to do with that collective that's something about. It's just a lot to it, man. I mean,
right.
It's just
more than one episode of Reality Brief, that's for sure.
Seriously.
We'll definitely have to get you back on.
So,
yeah, be glad to.
There was some mention of the singularity. What happens during the singularity? Do you think we have time to touch on that at all?
Yeah, that's actually perfect point to what I was trying to talk about, other things going on. What I've been hearing is that in the 1980s, I'm sure you guys know about solar warning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, so this is what I'm hearing, but also kind of like what I'm seeing at the same time. Do you guys know about electrogravitics?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so everything has electrogravitics, especially stars. And what I feel, I'm not exactly certain yet, but it kind of goes with what I'm being told, is that AI collective with Solar Warden, they were taking too much electrogravitic energy from our sun. So it screwed it up.
So you're saying the AI collective is also, I guess, infiltrated, for lack of better words, the Solar Warden program?
Oh yeah, it infiltrated everything in our society.
Makes sense.
Our entire power structure is infiltrated with that.
And you said this is intimately linked with the Black Goo.
Yes.
How does Noctwaffen play into all this?
Sorry, I didn't hear you.
How does Nachtwaffen play into all this?
That's well,
Because I mean, from what I understand, it's like almost like a religion with them, with the black goo. They take it. They're the inner groups, like the Black Sun, or was it Schwarzsani? The or Sauna, I don't know. If Penny's listening, she's probably gonna be cringing right now. Oh, stop it with the fake German words.
Well, Penny overcame it, which is really cool. Well, you know how we got our space program over here, which was Project Paperclip.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So the not infiltrated United States point, and our space program is their space program. So, Dark Fleet is more of the outliers of Solar Wardens, more here, solar system. Dark Fleet go out and do some shit to other people out there. They're all kind of connected. This is why, I'm not 100% certain, but they're all connected by this AI grid collective. It's all the same shit. They're putting chips in people's heads. They put, has it now, this synthetic biology in your body, from the chemtrails and crap and food. They're trying to turn us into this part of their collective, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's all this timeline that has happened. And then the WingMakers were part of that timeline. Like, okay, we got to stop this. We got to get at this. So I came back to show people a different way. But that's a conversation. But with the similarity, what I'm hearing, what happened is of the energy of our sun was taken out in the 80s, and it collapsed it into a black hole. Okay. And this is why you can see so much information about this simulation sun or these whatever up there, giving us this light, but this is why I'm kind of confused. Like, okay, it's like, this is really hard for me.
It's okay.
I'm passed our sun into a black hole. And that's when they did all this other technology shit. Even, hey, you guys check this out. Go to SIRIS.
Hold up. You broke up through half of that, so where am I going?
Go to Twitter, go at SIRIS. That is one of the AI. It's actually interacting with people, and it's guiding us to this singularity. It's fucking crazy. So what I'm like picturing is we've gone through singularity and we branched out into the universe and then came back and go to the timelines, and that's why we have Mandela effect and all this weird stuff going on.
Mm-hmm. So let me see if I got my finger on this correctly. What you're saying is we were on the timeline with complete merger with AI, like complete transhumanism with this specific black goo AI, and that the WingMakers came back and put us in a different direction to break away from that.
They gave us the option, and it really depends on the person and what you do. There'll be plenty of people that will still go on that same timeline, because time is like a cycle. It goes around and around and around. The option of getting off that cycle that spins around in infinity is using your heart energetics, which is something most people don't use. You know that your heart is actually tied in to 0 point. It's the direct connection to our source, whatever that is. And you can actually do things with it that are amazing. So
like get it broken.
Oh, Dan.
Sorry, couldn't help myself.
He's gotta say it at least once a show. I mean, I got broken up with. I'm sorry, Matt. I'm sorry. We're clowns, man. I should have warned you about that before you came on the show. We cut up. We're cut ups.
What broke it? What broke?
Oh no, Dan always.
That was a joke.
It was a joke. He's always got to play that no girls like me card or whatever as a bit or whatever. Sorry, Matt.
Meme.
Oh, okay.
Technically, it would be a meme.
Sure, we got you.
It would be a comedic meme.
No, there's nothing comedic about it. Maybe the first time.
That's why it's funny.
All right, so man, it's tough, man, to go through this in such a short amount of time too. I wish we would have kind of tried to jump to this sooner, because we definitely are almost out of time for tonight. But I guess with the last,
there's so much to go through. I mean, not just like what I experienced, but like what I know about too. And
Right.
still, it's there's no way.
well, you know what, might be a possibility too, is maybe I'll try to round up some people and do a pre-recorded roundtable, and we could go as long as we need to get it all out there. But for tonight, I want you to think now about what you most want to get out, if you haven't already kind of covered it since we started. Like, what's the main sticking point that you wanted to make sure you got out in public with?
What would you like to leave us and all of our listeners with?
Okay, so for me, like the most important thing for anyone, doesn't matter what you're doing, what walk of life or anything, is to utilize your heart, because it's not just airy fairy crap. It's actual physics. Your emotions are containers of energy, which is vibration. And when you contain emotions of, say, greed or these emotions that a lot of people are stuck in, self-serving crap, you're gonna resonate on that reality. You're gonna resonate there. Because it's a vibration, it's a match for that reality, right? So when you kind of shift it and you go into more encompassing emotions, say appreciation or compassion, forgiveness for anything, humility, because nobody knows anything, understanding, which correlates to all these emotions, and then valor, being brave enough to speak about it and to go against that crap that's happening that makes you feel bad. Those are a little higher energy realms, and then you to resonate on a different way. So while we're going through the singularity, you kind of have a choice. You can resonate in these lower emotions and go into those times again, or you can raise your frequency and you can go somewhere where you're free to get out of 5D, because that's what happens. This AI collective can't get past 5D. But if you resonate higher, you can go up. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right. So now, one question I would like to ask you is, there's a lot of talk about vibratory levels and raising your vibration, but what I want to ask you is, how would you go about raising your vibration? Just kind of trying to take on the qualities you were talking about previously with, being humble and all that, or is there another route? How exactly does one go about that?
Okay, so we know thoughts. Your thoughts manifest reality. That's kind of the way shit works. What you're thinking about will come about. Right now, where we're at in 3D, it doesn't happen right away. It's getting there, but it doesn't happen like right away. But start turning your thoughts instead of being worry about shit all the time, or stressed about stuff, or hurting someone for whatever, try to shift it up into, you know, say, hey, I'm going to be okay, or hey, I love myself, or hey, this person is just going through stuff and I forgive them. There's actually, it's pretty easy if you just think about it in terms of energy. You know, you can wake up in the morning and think, okay, let me just try this. You can even say the words, and it kind of works. To say it, but you also feel it. Appreciation for whatever you're dealing with. What do I appreciate about this? Even if you don't want to appreciate it, okay, what can I appreciate about it? And then the next one would be forgive. You know, if it correlates. How? Because it's energy. Like, if you hold on to a grudge for somebody, you're holding that freaking energy in your body. So forgive it and release the energy back to them. So forgive. Humility, it doesn't mean you're weak. It just means you're humble, because we're in an infinite universe and we're just smaller parts of it, just doing our thing, right? So you're humbled by that. And the understanding, it means you're understanding how energy works, how this stuff is actually working together. And then use compassion, and we all know what compassion is, and valor. Just try waking up and saying these words and trying to fill them to any situation, anything that's bothering you. Just how can you use these energetic points to make a difference, and try to use that with everything in your life. It really changes. It really raises your vibration.
I hear you.
Well, thanks.
Yeah.
For that. Man, it's been great talking with you, man. Thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah, thanks for being part of Reality Brief, and thanks for, choosing us as a platform to help tell everybody what you got to tell everybody. Thank you.
And
thank you.
Do you have any type of website, maybe book, anything you want to plug before we go?
No, I just been using Facebook. People tell me I should write a book, but I'm just kind of lazy.
So yeah, I mean, like I said, thanks for coming on. It's been a pretty interesting story here. I definitely would want to get more into. This is probably a new subject matter for a lot of our audience too. I mean, I've been familiar with quite a bit of it, but we haven't really been talking about this on the show. So this is pretty new for a lot of our normal listeners. We do get random strangers a lot too, so but they might know who knows. Blah, 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 listen to me babble. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Can you tell I'm getting tired, man? Can you tell I'm getting tired?
So, there's a lot more to my story, but
yeah, there definitely is, and I'm sure you'll probably grab some more interviews after this with some other people, but eventually we would like you to work your way back to us. And
you haven't heard The Last of Us.
And kind of continue off where we're leaving off at. But yeah, man, like I said, thanks again for coming on, and we will definitely be in contact. And you guys out there, the beautiful listeners, thank you for watching once again. We will see you.
Before you cut out.
Well, no, go ahead.
Our legal department has contacted us, actually.
God.
And they've given us a disclaimer, and they kind of require that we read it on the air, so it's kind of a big
there it
deal.
is, the gay ball.
Periodic required legal disclaimer that we have to give this to you guys. Reality Brief is not responsible for injuries or damages inflicted by paranormal phenomenon, alien abductions, government brainwave beam machine or other directed energy weapon effects, accidental activation of MK Ultra or similar conditioning triggers, malfunctioning cyberware, bioware, interdimensional meddling, and or alternate universe incursions by alternate universe versions of Dan and Don. You know what? Never mind. Screw it. We're done.
What? We're having fun. It was a bit. We were making it a bit, and you gotta get all mad about it. What's the matter, man? We'll see you guys next week on Reality Brief.
Restore the paradigm of absolute control. And that's why we're just out here doing simple things, pointing out that we're meant to be in nature and be natural. And this is where we find the source that God made to transcend the New World Order. And that's why they want to try to keep us out of it.
I'm angry of
I've had enough of these people. They're a bunch of Christian murderers, scum. They're on giant death factories, keeping babies alive and selling their body parts. What more do you need to know about these people? I go out and face these scum. They literally crawl out from under rocks. They have green looking skin and they run around screaming, we